I'd like to welcome everybody to our press conference today to launch the EnVIsion Tomorrow Homeowner Rehabilitation Program. This is a great program because we're going to now allow up to $250,000 of government money to help to repair homes in the Virgin Islands. I think today is very significant enough for a lot of reasons. This week we celebrated the 30th anniversary of Hugo. And many would argue that St. Croix still has not gotten back to the place that it was before that dreadful day in 1989. As a youngster then, and as a governor now, I have experienced how long it takes for recoveries to happen. 30 years later, we still don't have the hotel rooms that we had. We still don't have the airlift we had. We still don't have the cruise ships we had. We still don't have the vibrant economy that we had in 1989, ironically the year that I graduated from college. This week also marks, a deepness in the hurricane season as we also celebrated the Irma and María anniversaries. Every single day, in September, this community is full of angst, whether there's a storm churning in the Atlantic or not. Today we have one out there, tropical storm, that so far is forecasted to pass north of the Virgin Islands, but still on track. Every single household is tense with anxiety in anticipation of us experiencing another storm. I would like the public to know that today my heart feels a little good because I know that the 1,400 people that still go without roofs in the Virgin Islands and that are going to benefit for these programs are going to get a little bit closer to getting their homes back and to getting their lives back. I just want to thank the hard work that all the people who have been powering this recovery for the last 2 years have been doing. There's a lot of people that think that there's money there that we could just go and dip our buckets in. But the truth is that every single day we have to work hard for every penny that we get for this recovery. Because while these monies may be earmarked or allotted, they're still not at the dinner tables. Our public is still not feeling the effect of what these recovery dollars. So today we launched a roofing program that we intend to finally take out those blue roofs from our landscape, to finally put people back to 100% and being whole. So I really want to thank Daryl and his team for putting this together, and for you to realize that this is not only a push to make people whole, but is also a great impact on our economy. As I was looking at the budget today, already for the year, we have passed revenues for by $22 million over last year's fiscal budget. So we're already $22 million more in the black than we were last year. This is important to note because the only way we're really going to make this economy work is by putting our people to work. And as you stand here behind me today, hardworking contractors, Virgin Islands small businessmen and women that are powering through to help make this recovery a reality. That's federal dollars going to real work for us. It's important today to also note that we are grateful for the federal government and all of the money that they have given us the ability to spend in order to make people whole. But they are counting on us, not only them, but our public is counting on us to make sure that every single dollar is spent appropriately and that we account for it. As we look back, I'm still receiving calls almost daily about the roofing programs that were here previously, about people who weren't paid. Rest assured that participation in this roofing program, that we have done it right this time, that people are going to get paid, they're going to get paid on time, and our economy will continue to flow. So I won't take up all the time. I'd just like to thank the team and the press for being here today, and I'll turn the mic over to Ms. Adrienne Williams-Octalien.
Thank you, Governor, and good afternoon to all. I do want to thank you again for being here and for joining with us in moving the recovery forward. That's the message that we want to send, that the recovery is alive and well, and that we are moving in an expeditious manner to bring relief to the residents of the territory. This program this afternoon, is really indicative of Governor Bryan's marching orders to the Office of Disaster Recovery, and also with his priorities with his administration to stabilize the government, to keep the recovery on track, and also to build economic development here for the Virgin Islands. And our partners here today, our contractors, along with the government agencies that are putting this together, are actually demonstrating what this mission is today. The housing aspect of the recovery is one of the top 100 recovery projects. And we are pleased that the Office of Disaster Recovery, in addition to the efforts from the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority, is moving the second phase to bring housing relief to the residents of the Virgin Islands. We also want to ensure that we do so learning on all of the lessons from their Emergency Home Relief Virgin Islands program, the fact that we have made significant changes to the structure of this program, as well as this is funded from another funding source through the Housing and Urban Development. We are clear on the progress forward. We want to continue to let residents know where they are, and today Director Griffith is going to outline how this program works and how residents can get access. We field numerous questions from residents every day, all day, on when is the program going to start. And we're happy to provide that information today, and also to continue to provide support to the great men and women of the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority under the leadership of Daryl Griffith.
Thank you, Mrs. Octalien. As Mrs. Octalien said, I'm Daryl Griffith, the Executive Director of the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority. This is a happy day for us because, as the Governor said, we have the contractors with us today that represent some of the contractors that are going to be working on your homes and in your houses. We have over 29 contractors signed up for the program, and we actually have an active request for qualifications for contractors right now. They can either go to the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority's offices, or they can go online at VIHFA.gov, or they can go actually to the Office of Disaster Recovery website, which is USVIODR.com, and get information on how they can also participate in this program. And one thing that the Governor mentioned that he gave us strict marching orders was to make sure that our local contractors get paid and are compensated for the hard work that they'll do on this program. And that's the beauty of the HUD program, is that the HUD funds are available right now. So when the contractors submit invoices and the invoices are approved, they get paid on approved invoices. So with that being said, how do Virgin Islanders sign up for this program? So far, we have over 1,400 individuals, 1,400 who've signed up. You can either go to our website, www.vistormrecovery.com, and you can also put that in your app page too as well on your phone, and just type in VI Storm Recovery and download the app. Or you can call in at 888-239-3387. That number once again is 888-239-3387. Our goal is to help as many Virgin Islanders as possible with this program. Each Virgin Islander can receive a grant up to $250,000 to complete your home and to make you whole and get you repaired. And we also are rolling out the rental rehab program as well. And we have over 99 landlords who've signed up for that program, which represent close to 150 units. So with that program, landlords will be able to rent to low to moderate income people. And this, we've heard the outcry from the community about the rent increases, and this will be able to help that outcry and help those residents who are feeling that rent burden right now. So we look forward to launching this program. We look forward to working with the people of the Virgin Islands, and we're going to keep you updated all throughout every aspect of this program. In the next coming weeks, you're going to be getting calls from our offices, and those calls are going to be to inform you when we're going to set up a meeting for you to get inspection of your home so that we can put together the scope of work, so that those contractors have that scope of work of what repairs need to be done in your home. So you're going to be getting a lot of calls from us in the coming weeks, coming months, and that's what that's going to be for. We look forward to being a part of your lives. Unfortunately, a disaster happens overnight, but recovery takes years, so we're going to be with you for a while. It's not going to be an overnight process, but we promise we're going to be there every step of the way to make sure every Virgin Islander has a comfortable and safe place to rest their head. Thank you.
Well, we'll take some questions from the press.
Hi, good morning. Brandy Brooks from the VI Daily News. My question is, for this new program, the people who met the qualifications for the former program, did all of those people have their homes repaired?
The people who, not all of the people who qualified for the other program, the emergency home repair, Virgin Islands got their homes fully repaired. We did 1,648 roofs in that program, and some homes were too damaged for the scope of work of that program, so those people had to reapply to this program, and it's almost, we have the number of all of the people who've, we sent a message out to every single person who didn't get their roof repaired, and almost all of those have applied. There are a couple of different restrictions on this program than the other one. The main one being is that duplication of benefits. If you have insurance, you will only get enough money to make you repair your home. So if the insurance gives you $100,000 and it costs $200,000 to repair your home, we'll give you the additional $100,000. So that's a big difference between those two programs. And
What if you don't have insurance?
if you don't have insurance, that this program is designed to give you up to $250,000 to repair your home.
Also, since the storms, it was 2 years ago, the homes that were foreclosed or people who had to move away because their houses weren't repaired in time for them to actually, reside in those homes, is there a program for people who may be temporarily living with someone else or paying rent somewhere? Is there a program for them to be able to have an alternative form of housing in the meantime while these repairs are taking place?
So I want to make sure I understand your question correctly, because you said a lot. You said about foreclosure, and then you said about people. So could you elaborate a little bit for me?
Separate, I guess. So,
Okay.
One, the people whose homes were foreclosed, who might have went abroad looking to move back or temporarily living with someone else, is there a program for them to get new homes?
So we have a number of programs, and that's a great question you asked. We also have a program, the Housing Finance Authority's bread and butter is building affordable housing. And through the disaster recovery dollars, we are planning on building more communities. So in St. Croix, for example, if you drive through Bon Esperance, that's one of our communities, and Mount Pleasant. And we are building a number of communities using disaster recovery funds to be able to provide more affordable housing in the territory. And we're also expanding the rental opportunities through Housing Authority by funding some of their programs so that we'll have more affordable rentals as well in the territory. And we're also doing emergency housing for people who get displaced during times of a disaster. For example, we purchased Chronogata Inn, and we're going to rehab that and make that into emergency housing. And we have a number of those type of stories all throughout the territory, in all three islands, St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John.
And since the last program, has there been any conversation with residents who require repairs, who might not, who probably met the qualifications, but the repairs were just so specific and could not be addressed in the last program? Has there been any, outreach or conversations with those people to see what can change for this program, this new program?
Oh, definitely. There was tremendous amount of outreach to those individuals, and those are they make up a large part of that 1,400 applicants that we have in this program. They are directly people that we actually, the first day of the program, we did a massive outbound call-in. So we called all 15,000. It was a robocall. And then we received a ton of people calling into our program. So yes, so we've outreached to them, and they've outreached to us too as well. And if they don't get immediate answers from us, they call the government house, and the governor lets us know to jump on board to help them out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Elizabeth Via Consortium. Mr. Griffith, do you have a set criteria for those looking to be part of the program?
For the contractors or for the homeowners?
For the homeowners.
For the homeowners, yes. The HUD funds, the first two tranches, it has a mandate that 70% of the funds be used for low to moderate income individuals. So, and then the other 30% can be used for individuals of any income level. One of the concerns that the community gave us was that they were afraid that they wouldn't meet the income limits set by it if our main focus was, to help low to moderate income individuals. So one thing that we did, we sent a letter to HUD asking them to use the income limits of St. John, which is our highest income island across the territory. And verbally, HUD gave us said that they'll look into that and they will give us a response back in this month. So we're looking forward to a positive response on that, and I think we're going to be able to help even more Virgin Islanders because of that. So that's one of the main criteria. The second is duplication of benefits, as I mentioned before. And a third is that you have to be the homeowner. And fourth, this has to be a primary residence. It can't be a second or a third home. It has to be a primary residence that will repair.
And so, following up on that, with the situation with St. John, what would be low income in St. John? What is that?
So to give you an example, if that when that gets approved, then we have all indications to see that that's going to move forward. Is that will change the St. Croix will be able to move up. A person of one will have an increase of $15,000 to go from what was considered low to moderate income. Annually, yes. So that's a big difference between the two.
Explain further.
So for example, the average median income in St. Croix might be about 30. It depends on family size, but to keep it simple, say the average median income on St. Croix is about $35,000, and St. John is about $60,000.
Okay. Let's talk about the contractors a little bit. We know the last go around there were some issues with some contractors.
Yes.
Some residents had some complaints and whatnot. Has the government vetted the contractors it has with it right now?
Yes, that's why we did a request for qualifications first. So that was that's the first step. We get all the qualifications from the contractors. Every single contractor you see here is a general contractor who's licensed to work in the Virgin Islands and has experience in building Virgin Islands homes and the style of buildings that we do here. So they've all been vetted and they all are familiar with the territory.
Let me ask, so if all the funds are not used, what is the allocation for funds to be used for this program, the entirety?
For this program right now, the current allocation is $60 million, and we're going to the governor and asking him for us to be able to increase it to $200 million so that we can serve as many Virgin Islanders as possible.
So the governor can increase that?
It's all up to the big man.
So that's how it's set up with HUD, with those funds?
Well, it depends on the priority level, because one of the things that housing is definitely a big priority for the territory to make sure Virgin Islands get back into their homes. But even though that $1.8 billion from HUD seems like a lot of money, when you start factoring things like WIHFA, we know what the issues we've been having. Some of those funds are going to be dedicated to that and to roads and to different things. So that's how we have to make sure we prioritize the use of the funds.
So let me ask this last one here. Is there a deadline as to how long the territory has to spend those monies?
Yes, for this one, for the CDBG-DR, Disaster Recovery Tranche 1 and Tranche 2, the territory has up to 5 years to spend the funds. For the new one that we spoke about, the Federal Register Notice for CDBG mitigation, the territory has a decade, 10 years to spend the funds.
Okay. I hate to say the last one, because it wasn't really the last one, but I want to ask about the rental program. How far are we along with that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have over 99 landlords who've signed up for the program, and we have which represent close to 150 units. So we're far along with that program too as well. And we're going to do these contractors you see here are going to be the ones fixing those two as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm sorry if I missed this, but is there a specific day when the contractors will begin work on these roofs?
So we expect to start calling out to the residents to set up appointments starting in this month and in October. So as soon as we finish the scope of work in October, we expect to have these contractors on your roofs as early as November.
I'm not sure if I have this right or if I saw it correctly, but the last tranche that was released of over 700 million.
Yes.
Did I notice a deadline in there of April of next year to submit a plan?
Yes, so that's CDBG mitigation. So we're going to separate the two between CDBG-DR and CDBG mitigation. That has a deadline of April 6, 2020 to submit the action plan. Okay. So we've done that for all of the previous ones and gotten the action plans approved.
Okay, so you're good with that?
Yes, we are very good with that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll have that in well before that.
Yes. Governor?
I just want to stress what he's saying. If you're not sure if you qualify for the program, it doesn't cost you a dime to apply. Please don't listen to the rumors on the street. I think you should just, apply to the program. Let them tell you no. As he said, home ownership is a priority for us. Not only repairing homes, but building new homes for Virgin Islanders. We want to make a very, very strong push to attract young people back to the Virgin Islands. Mr. Griffith failed to mention that everywhere I go, people are asking me about jobs. He has about 40 of them on his website. There's at least 60 to 100 on the government website. For people waiting to apply to, I know people are used to getting a hookup, but this is a different time. You need to apply for the job, and we're looking for talent. That's another thing that we're not talking about. There's a lot of employment being created through this program. And a lot of opportunity for people to come back home and work, whether you're young or you're a little bit senior, like me, but an opportunity for Virgin Islanders to really get some work in. And just to understand what the scope of work is, these contractors, the agency has to go out and really see what the full extent of the damage, how much equipment, materials, manpower it's going to take in order to repair the home and then do it. So it's a little bit of a process. It's not as simple. Some of these things are gonna, because you're working with a home that maybe the bond beam is gone, you might have to dig down below it in order to put it back. But $250,000 is a lot of money. But we're committed to making people whole. We know that a lot of people can afford to fix their homes. They have been shortchanged by the insurance, or just the expense of having a disaster has gotten in the way of them making themselves whole. So we're here to help. We're going to be trying to get this money spent, and we're not going to have a problem spending it. Mr. Gilbert, we'll be doing our diligence on that. We announced WAPA. We're moving forward. We're doing stuff for the hospital. This is the homeowners, the roofing program, the landlord program is up now. And we'll be making more announcements as we go on, because we're going to, the hard part about this was getting everybody set up. Once he did the capacity planning and we've signed the agreements, tourism now is taking off. There's some marine plans there we're going to be announcing. Also branding of St. Croix and giving St. Croix its own significant path. All those things are coming up. So I know we're having a lot of these press conferences, but we want to let the public know that we're very diligent, determined about this, and we're going to get this money spent and spent properly. Before I go, I'd just like to say that 2 o'clock tomorrow, we are scheduled to have another press conference to brief the public about this storm that's in the Atlantic. It looks really good now. It looks like it's tracking northward. Unless it takes a really deep dive, we're going to be having an update, briefing people, letting them know what to expect. But don't wait for that. Right now is the time to go out, make sure that you secure your home, your properties, your assets, pick up the stuff out of the yard. We should have already done that from the last storm. Get your water stocked up. Don't eat up your snacks. We're still in September. And we're going to be fine to get through this one with God's grace and our determination. I'll let you know the administration is prepared and ready. Director Johnson is texting me and calling me hour on the hour, letting me know of all the preparedness that we're doing. We've had 2-3 after-action reports after the last storm. So rest assured your government is ready to deal with it, and we're going to be there for you. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.